have a little problem with NIST.
No, do you really?
Well,
what's the problem with this?
In regard,
this is so like unpolitical. Like, that's why I like working there.
Well, yes and no. Well, for any of you that have watched me for any length of time, you know that one of my bigger subjects is 9/11, attacks of 9/11. Biggest false flag, linchpin, exposing that there is. And I've talked to some of the originators. I talked to one of the originators of 9/11 Truth out there in the street. Talked to people that are survivors of 9/11, firemen, policemen, you name it, witnesses. And today we talked to a guy who works for NIST, the National Institute for Science and Technology, who, of course, were big players in the cover-up of 9/11. So this guy works for NIST. And, of course, not all the people that work for NIST are evil bastards. And so we talked 9/11. This guy and a couple of things he wasn't aware of. Should be. But I don't imagine they go out of the way to share at NIST, the evil bastards that work for them, share all the things with all their employees that they're doing. And of course, the information I gave him, he says he's going to go back and look into it. Yeah, lose his job. At any rate, this is what I do out there, expose the truth, and hopefully, when I run into people of some influence that are in a position to maybe do something and become whistleblowers, hello, that, maybe I can spur that, do some good. All right, you know what you do, share it, care, contribute to all the good things if you like it. Yeah. And and I'll see you on the other side of this one.
I teach medicine.
For the federal government also?
No. University.
For what university?
George Washington.
And you teach what?
Medicine.
Medicine? Mm-hmm. Interesting. And you work for the feds in what capacity?
I'm a research scientist at one of the National Institutes of Science, NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology. Yeah. What? We're in Gaithersburg.
Well, I have a little problem with NIST.
No, do you really?
Well,
what's the problem with this?
In regard,
this is so like unpolitical. Like, that's why I like working there.
Well, yes and no. If we were to get into, let me show you. Just this little book right here.
Oh, yes. NIST investigated that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
And can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure. Now, granted, I had nothing to do with that.
I know that. But it is standard operating procedure, correct me if I'm wrong here,
okay,
when anything collapses, for NIST to perform tests for explosives.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, like in our museum, we have relics of bridges in Ohio that collapsed because of fatigue. I don't know they would search for explosives for that because it's kind of obvious why they collapsed.
Well, I've talked to others who have worked within the system, engineers and structural engineers and people who work within the system that have worked with the government, worked with NIST. And it is standard operating, especially when 118 firemen are on record
to saying that they witnessed explosives going off all around them on 9/11. Yet, NIST did not perform one single test for explosives for 9/11. Not one. And then, of course, the fact that they started carrying off the evidence the very next day, which would be against the law to begin with because it's a crime scene. So, all these anomalies about 9/11 with that NIST were just complacent with. It's okay, just card off the evidence. It's okay. No, even though architects and engineers and independent research investigation found nanothermite in the debris, which, as you know, is a high-grade military explosive, and they've estimated that there were as much as 10 tons of it in the buildings. And as you know, nanothermite being a water-soluble or liquid-soluble explosive, maintenance men could be painting it on the walls and they wouldn't know it. So, with all this evidence, with the fact that, the survivors talked about explosives blowing out the bottom of the building. One of the fathers said his son got killed before the buildings came down because the explosives blew out. He was standing outside the bottom of the building and the glass just shredded him. So it blew out the building so there was a bomb that came from the bottom. Plus, there was a guy that got a medal from Bush because he saved 253 lives. He had the keys for all the doors. And Rodriguez, who said that before the plane hit the building, just a few moments before, an explosion actually from the bottom blew him up from the basement. And that a man came up from the basement with his skin blown off. So again, NIST didn't perform one single test for explosives. And if you look at the director of NIST being interviewed after that, the excuses he was giving were so inane, so inept, so much. I mean, you could see right through them. You wouldn't have to be an engineer. Any layperson could just see that this guy was blowing smoke. He's telling us that fires alone brought down those buildings. Give me a break. I mean,
So if it was, conspiracy theory explosives, who did it? Was it?
Well, that would be the question, wouldn't it? I mean, who had access to those buildings?
A lot of people, yeah.
A lot of people? How about building number 7? Building number 7 housed all 16 of our intelligence agencies and the mayor's emergency bunker. It was probably outside of the Pentagon, one of the most secure buildings in the world. You just don't walk into that building. And from the World Trade Center towers, from where we're standing to that brick building down there, 47 stories tall, wasn't hit by a damn thing at 5:20 in the afternoon, did this in 6 seconds. Straight to the ground. Perfect controlled demolition style, and it wasn't even mentioned. Wasn't even mentioned in the 9/11 report. What brought that building down?
I don't know.
Again, they said it was fires. Well, if that's true, then why weren't the fire codes changed?
Right.
If fires alone could bring down steel buildings, and they're the only 3 buildings to ever fall by fire in the history of steel buildings, happened in one day in New York City.
Who knows?
That's good. I'm gonna buy that. A lot of questions there.
Crazy.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, if I get back, I'll ask my guys.
I have some information for you. This is architects and engineers for 9/11 Church. This is the information you want to look up on the bottom there.
Okay.
Those questions have never been answered. there's a lawsuit that just is going through New York right now by architects and engineers with their lawyers who have presented evidence of the building number 7 collapsing. And that lawsuit is going through. That evidence, the grand jury is being formed, and it will be presented.
Very good.
Yeah.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
All
right.
Thank you very much.
Chatting with you.
So what do you think? You think he'll keep his job if he starts asking questions? As I said, it'd be nice if, he started looking into it and go, hey, wait a second here, and then became a whistleblower. And that'd be cool. All right. Thanks for stopping by. If you like it, if you care, share. If you can, you can contribute. If you will, please pray for me, and I will pray back for you. I will see you on the streets. God bless.